Good morning, afternoon, or evening, dear yogis. This is Echo. So grateful to be here on this beautiful sunny day in the UK actually I'm in Wales. So in Wales in the UK, and it has been raining for a week. So this is a godsend to have so much beautiful sun. And today's practice, ironically, those rainy days could have gone better with the theme, but the theme today and this sunshine and this heat and this fire, essentially, of the sun blazing is one around anger. And this is a practice for any being and anybody, whether you fall under, connecting more with your feminine or your masculine and a male body, a female body, a transgendered body, gender fluidity, whatever it may be, just the living being within you that has felt repressed in the feminine in some way. And so I'm going to speak it today from my own journey and my own perspective, but allow it to relate to you however it may. And this is a practice to step into non-passivity, to step into our power, to step into our fire, and to work with our anger. And the reason that I'm inspired to share this practice is because I know for myself for a very long time, being coming from a very conservative Texas conditionality, I grew up with the understanding that women are meant to be quiet, a bit invisible, and submissive to men. And as I grew up, that conditioning really harmed me in my relationships. And because of other things that happened in my own conditioning through abuse in my family, the structure that kind of created how Echo related to the world or related to specifically intimate relationships was around, once I'm in a relationship, I do what I'm meant to do. Even if I'm unhappy or there is anything that feels suppressed in that, their control, jealousy, possessiveness is welcome. And we all have our own parts. This isn't to say that I have been in all of those types of relationships, but I have been in them. There have been a handful that have been very abusive and that have pushed me even deeper into that state of helplessness, that I don't have power, that I need to be invisible, that I'm small, that I'm unworthy. And so the invitation today for you is, if you've been in that place, if you're in that place and you feel helpless and you feel small and invisible, if you feel that in your relationships your voice isn't heard, that your needs aren't respected or even asked about, that there's not curiosity around what you need, and that you're finding yourself serving and pushing yourself smaller and smaller into little boxes in order to get love or to be breadcrumbed, whatever little bit of acknowledgement or human attention that you might get, whether it's intimacy or friendship or in your family relationships. Now is the time for you to step into your power. And so I invite you, this can be a triggering practice, especially just these words can be triggering if you're still with me and you've decided to tune in. If you've stayed, then it means that there's something in you that resides with the truthfulness of what's being stated. And so I invite for you to really look at, where do you feel helpless in your life? It might be in an immediate relationship. It might be in a friendship. It might be at work. But the truth is that your voice does matter, that your needs do matter, that your boundaries are important. And if you're not even aware of what those are right now, it's a time to check in with, have my needs been met? Have my boundaries been breached? Like, am I an advocate for myself and my desires and what makes me feel safe in the world? And so this practice is about releasing energy, and we'll do a few things that we're going to be screaming into our hands or hitting a pillow. And so if you have a history of violence in your life and that feels a little bit triggering, then just, step back. If this is the practice for you right now, we're not going to go too wild, but the desire is to have healthy tools to release your anger, your frustration, that powerlessness, to come back into an embodied nature in your physical form. Because so many of us that have felt powerless, whether we're in a female body, a male body, or however we identify, we get smaller and we get more and more caged. And at some point, maybe we give up. We give up on what we have to offer even mattering. And so this is about it mattering. and letting it out. And it doesn't have to, you don't have to picture a person or a specific situation. If there's just tension in you that feels like, I've felt powerless, then just like let it out through the hand screams that we're going to do, let it out through hitting the pillow, and just allow yourself to release energy. And maybe later you begin to understand where it comes from. Maybe at the moment you don't. But that being said, I thought I had a little jacket because it's quite cold, but I'm going to be okay. Let's go ahead and start seated. Hands resting on the knees. Sit up nice and tall, spine long. And just arriving in your body, closing the eyes down, arriving in your breath, equal inhales and exhales through the nostrils. And in this moment, allow yourself to feel your power, meaning allow yourself to just turn on. What does it feel like to be in your body? Can you touch base with your heartbeats? Let that breath move all the way from the belly into the rib cage, across the chest. Let it nourish you, sustain you. And allowing the body to come online. So maybe it's been online. Maybe it's been offline. We all deal with our powerlessness in different ways. Some of us might be very connected to our sacred rage, while others are very numb. So maybe right now, even the subject coming up, you're feeling a trembling in your body and just a fire. Beautiful, breathe through it. Some of you might feel a sadness, a melancholy, a dissociation, a numbness. And that's okay. Just notice if you can slowly begin to find warm spots in the body, like you're thawing out. Let's take an inhale, stretch the arms up overhead, get nice and long. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, heart center. Inhale up. Exhale, heart center. Let the head bow to the heart, and just coming in with an intention. So every human being in the world, no matter what we've been through, there are reasons to feel rage, to feel anger, to feel frustration, but we've been taught to push those aside, to be a good little girl, a good little boy. But this is a fuel that creates great transformation in our bodies, and also can help us, if it's not projected onto others in a violent way or an unhealthy way, it helps us to stand in our confidence and create accountability to our community, meaning that we learn to speak our voices, we learn to speak of our experiences in a way that others know how we are affected. We start letting people take accountability for their actions through actually feeling what we feel and speaking to it. And so open the eyes, inhale, reach up. Exhale, twist to the right, right hand down behind you, left hand on the right knee, sit up nice and tall. So again, as these words are shared in this practice, I really invite you to tune into what have you not said that you feel needs to be said. And this isn't a place of vengeance or righteousness, but what in your experience hasn't been stated. Let's take an inhale, reach up. And exhale to the left. When we get small and we don't speak of the affect in our lives that hurts us, that cause pain or anger, we also lose the opportunity to gift that experience to somebody through clear and effective communication of what needs weren't met, which boundaries were breached, so that that person can take accountability for their own parts in these situations. Or society, or a family, or a group. It doesn't have to just be one individual. Let's take an inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the elbows, open the chest, look up. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, round the upper back, palms together. Exhale, round the spine, or open the chest, sorry. Look up, bend the elbows. Inhale, round in, palms together, chin to chest. And exhale, open the heart, slight back bend, bend the elbows. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Hands come to the knees. Come into all fours, tabletop position. You will need a cushion at some point, so I have a pillow here. I'll leave the pillow here for some time. Hands directly underneath the wrist, knees underneath the hips. Take an inhale, let the belly drop, look forward, open the heart. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Beginning to add some sound. Take an inhale through the nostrils. And exhale, sigh out as you round in. Inhale. Any sound that feels good for you. Inhale, the belly drops, look forward. Exhale, round in. Any stuck tension in the throat. Inhale. Any sound that feels right for you. Inhale. It's good to connect with the breath. So now let's just begin to find natural movement. Hips can go back to the heels or forward. Continue to breathe. Any natural movement that your body needs to feel open and organic. Then again, I invite you to get comfortable with hearing sound come through your throat. So especially when we're releasing, sometimes if we hear kind of a angry growl, it can bring up fear of, oh no, being angry is bad. I want to be a good girl or a good boy. So I encourage you, you're here by yourself on your yoga mat. Just allow yourself to feel what it even feels like to let that emotion move through you. A few more rounds. Let's come back onto the heels, tuck the toes under, sit back onto the heels, toe squat. This is definitely enough to bring up some anger in the body. So we're letting the heat come through the feet, the fascia in the feet, onto the tops of the feet, the ankles. Let the hands rest on the thighs. And again, we're working with any sticky energy here. So in the bottoms of the feet, we hold so much tension. It's a good posture to do. And if you're feeling numb or dissociated, meaning if you're outside your body and just feeling like you're staring off into space each day and you're just not really present, this is a great posture to do to come back into your body because it hails you home. It says, oh, this is uncomfortable. So we're calling ourselves home because when we're fully home, we can be aware of what we're feeling. So in order to heal, we need to be able to feel. So again, deep breaths in and out of the nostrils, being here with whatever's coming up. Take an inhale, stretch the arms up, clasp the thumbs together, open the heart space. Slight back bend. Stay on the tiptoes. A few more breaths. Maybe your anger is directed towards me now, that's okay. I'm not gonna hear it, so just let it out if you need a roar. You can stick your tongue out, that lion's breath that we do in yoga as well, with the inhale through the nostrils. Tongue out, crossing the eyes. Let's come down to the hands and just pat the feet out. Tuck the toes under, press the hips up, downward facing dog. So first downward facing dog, let's let the back line grow long.
Stretching nice and long through the back side of the body. Let the head hang. And it's beautiful before doing any kind of practices around release to work with all planes of the body. So we've done a twist, we've done a bit of back bends, we're opening the back line now. It gives you an opportunity to kind of wake the whole family up. So you can see your body as this family constellation. So we're getting the kids out of the bed, mom and dad, grandma and grandpa. We want the whole family to be at the discussion, right, of what we're feeling. So your whole body is present to what's alive right now for you. Slowly walk the feet forward, take your time. Feel the back line of the body stretch as you come forward. And forward fold. Let's take a hold of opposite elbows, just ragdoll from side to side. Again, nice and long through the back line of the body. You can even let the arms swing forward and backwards if you'd like, sideways. Hands to the earth. Place the feet firmly into the ground. Take an inhale, press, and slowly begin to roll up. Let the arms hang, slight bend in the knees, and give a little bounce. Bounce to the knees, move from side to side. And again, waking the family up. So we have become a society that sits very stagnant at desks, that have postures of rigidity to seem confident and proud. And a lot of this work in kind of waking ourselves up to the emotions that are in us kind of takes us out of all those boxes that people want us to fit into. So know that by fully being awake and aware and feeling all of your emotions, it's gonna maybe not make some people happy. They're gonna want you to get back into your box, get back into your role, become complacent. But let's be fully present at the party that is our life. Come into stillness. Feet directly pressing into the earth, hands alongside the body, finding a focal point forward. And we feel confident being in our bodies. We're waking our body up. We're here. We're awake. We're aware. We're alert of what we feel. Let's take an inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, hands to heart. Hands alongside the body. So this next practice is the hand scream. So I encourage you just to shake it out a little bit. And know that most of us don't scream. We never scream. We've learned from very young, shh, be good, be good. And things happen to us. We get our hearts broken. Our boundaries get breached. We miss that promotion at our job that we felt we were supposed to get. Natural disasters destroy our homes, like sicknesses destroy our families. So there are things to be angry at. This is not a bad emotion. There are no bad emotions. It's a part of you. So you have something to be angry at. So I encourage you, if you feel like, but I'm not angry at anything, just allow the energy to move through you and let it go out of you. It doesn't have to stay in you. It's not yours to keep. I'm not an angry person, yet I experience anger. So just let it rage. So the way the hand scream works is you're gonna scream from the back of your throat into your palm, not from the front of your throat, or it might hurt. It might feel uncomfortable. And when you finish this practice later, you're gonna go, oh, I screamed too hard. I don't wanna do this again. So back of the throat, that like let the fire out of the back of the throat. You're gonna cover your hand, you're gonna shake the entire body as you lean down and let it move through your entire body. So there is no right or wrong, wherever it needs to go. And you're gonna use that energy to wake yourself up. It's like coffee. It's like a good run. It's a good workout to just revitalize your body. So let's see the beauty of anger.
and how it can heal us and bring us home to ourselves. We're going to go through 3 rounds, and we're going to relax into a forward fold after that because it can bring up a lot of energy. So when you're ready, feet hip-width distance apart, slight bend in the knees. Take an inhale, and the exhale will begin. Come to standing. Close the eyes. And just feel the intensity in the body. It can bring up some fear, but maybe there's also right alongside the fear a sensation that feels good. Maybe the heart's beating a little bit faster, the body's trembling. I encourage you on this next one to really let the full exhale be a scream all the way to the very, very end where you have nothing else left, and then you come back up to standing. So when you're ready, let's take a deep breath and deep sigh out. And again. Notice what you notice. Life whispers to you when you allow yourself to feel. Last round, you can give a little shake. Deep breath, deep sigh out. Last one. Notice if any emotions come up. For so many of us, the first time practicing this, the second, the third, many times. So much frustration, anger, pain, suffering that we've put ourselves through in order to fit into the boxes, to be passive, complacent, forgiving, compassionate. We give ourselves a safe place to experience that. We don't project it and go pointing fingers and go out for vengeance, but we say what happened is not okay. What is happening is not okay. The pain I feel is real. The pain I feel deserves attention. And if not from the external world, from myself. I don't need to go out and project it onto the world, but I need to feel it so that I can stay in my body. I can stay fully alive, fully well. Let's take an inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, slowly bow all the way down. Take a forward fold here. And that might feel good to take opposite elbows again. Let the head hang, rounding in on ourselves, swaying. Going through these practices when there is a lot to be angry about, it is so good to do them multiple times till that anger has a healthy place to release. And then once we gain the insight, the understanding, the wisdom to express that in a way that doesn't put violence out into the world, and we can begin to speak our truth to the people that have hurt us, to the systems that have hurt us, to the families, the communities that have hurt us, we can do so from that kind of spiritual warrior place. Not of needing to harm or have others suffer because we've suffered, but to let them know, to ask, to really demand accountability. Let's go ahead and
Bend the knees, come onto the tiptoes, and slowly come down to the knees. We're gonna grab a cushion, bring it out in front of us. Sitting up nice and tall. And again, this next practice, it can bring up stuff. It can bring up stuff for us because we're going to be hitting this pillow. So we're going to be kind of karate chopping the pillow. Don't make a fist though, because you can hurt your hands, but we can fist into the pillow because this is just an object that's not going to get hurt by our anger. And again, it doesn't have to be a person. It can just be letting that energy out. And the way that this is going to work is we come up onto the knees, come to standing on the knees. And when you're ready, sitting up nice and tall, standing up nice and tall, and just bringing the arms down however you need and whatever rate you need. And you can make a sound. So sit back onto the heels first. And just know if that brings up anything and it triggers anything, then maybe this isn't the space for you to go there yet. When you are ready, then you can. But make sure you have good cushions, that you're not going to hurt your wrist, and that you're doing it at a space that's not going to be detrimental for you or violent for you. But again, when we're feeling frustrated, so many of us, and I know that I've done this, when I have that anger, that rage, number one, I either suppress it so that I could be a good girl, and I want to seem forgiving, and I'm spiritual, and I'm compassionate, and I'm loving. So I put that somewhere, and I immediately spiritually bypass the emotion that I'm having. Or I go the other way. I become righteous. I can be vengeful. I can point fingers at the other person and be like, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to get the band together, and we're going to teach you a lesson. But these tools give us an opportunity to take a middle path. I'm not numbing out to my experience. I'm experiencing it. I'm letting it release in my own time and in safety. I'm not taking it out into the external world and projecting it. But once I've released it, I can have an insight to why I'm mad, what boundaries have been breached, which needs have been breached. And I can find a clear and effective way to non-violently communicate that to the person, to the system, to the situation, from a place of taking accountability for feeling what I need to feel, but also keeping the people around me accountable for their actions and their part of these situations. So that being said, we're going to go through this for a minute. If sound wants to come out, if anything needs to come out, if you want to go slowly, but just allow yourself to feel what it feels like to just push that energy into the pillow. So when you're ready. And at any point, if you need to just scream into the pillow instead of into your hand, this is another thing that you can do. So continue with what feels good for you. But if you want to try to scream into the pillow, you can also sit back onto the heels and do so. So just take a few more rounds. A few more rounds of breath in whatever you're doing, whether it's hitting the pillow, whether it's screaming into the pillow. And when you're ready, you'll find a seat, sitting back onto the heels, sitting up nice and tall, let the palms shine up. And just again, feel what you feel, witness what you witness. Maybe you feel silly, maybe you feel very angry, maybe you still feel a bit numb. But just allow yourself to feel. Whatever it is, there's no good or bad. And slowly, when you're ready, I'm going to come down to child's pose. Take the knees wide. Bring that pillow between the chest, or between the knees, underneath the chest. And you might notice, so I'm noticing now, when I'm releasing a lot of energy, air comes up through the chest. So I start to burp.
For me and what I've experienced with other people, when we start to burp like that, there's energy in us. That energy can be a release of any stagnant energy in the body. So it's kind of like a lymphatic flush energetically. We're moving that through. So at the end of the practice, it's really beautiful to either come into Shavasana or come into Child's Pose. So the heart is towards the earth. So come into Child's Pose on our pillow. You can bring your forehead down, stretch the arms out in front of you. Let the hips sit back and feel our connection to the stability of Pachamama beneath us. And just a time of observation again, feeling what we feel. Noticing what we notice, observing what comes up. These practices, we release a lot, but integration is important. So I encourage you to journal about what comes up. And do your best to not judge anything as good or bad. Just let it be. Journal, sit in meditation with it, take some moments of silence. And stay here as long as you need. If you need to pause the video, pause the video. But for the rest of us, we'll slowly begin to come up and find a comfortable seat, sitting up nice and tall. Let's take the one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly, just some touch on the body. Thank you for moving through this practice with me today for yourselves. I know this is not an easy one. Take a deep breath in, deep sigh out. Let's take an inhale, stretch the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart, bowing head to heart as well. May we each find the peace, the ease and the grace to feel in order to heal, to allow ourselves to be a holistic system of sentience and not just the pleasurable or acceptable. May we accept the parts of ourselves that the rest of the world and maybe society doesn't, and even the parts that we ourselves don't accept. And may we let this newfound energy with our anger, our frustration, our pain, may we allow it to revitalize us, to bring new life and creativity into our body, into our heart, into our minds. Namaste. Namaste, yogis. Thank you for staying with me. I'm sure that there can be some tender experiences coming up for some of you, some enlightening experiences, some embodied, some wise, some insights. I encourage you to sit with this. If the practice made you uncomfortable, I encourage you to do it again, pushing your edges. This isn't something that we're really pushed to have a relationship with. It's something that we're told to surpass and to become better than. There's a hierarchy emotionally, and angry people and content and complacent people. And we almost reward people that are numb. We do reward them in whole systems and jobs and society. The people that are quiet and that just do their work and they don't make complaints, they're a good worker, they're a good girl, they're a good boy. Those of us that forgive and have compassion and don't go after those that do things that are painful, we're also rewarded in being the bigger person. But the invitation here is for us to all wake up to what is in ourselves being experienced that doesn't feel healthy, that doesn't feel conducive to what we need and what fuels us to be the best versions of ourselves, and to start to hold the world accountable for its actions. By doing this in a healthy way and not projecting it externally, we become more alive and awake and aware and embodied in ourselves, so that when we speak, it comes from a clear, effective, and non-violent place, but that our words cut and that they're potent, and that what we speak When we're not speaking it out of anger or complacency, we're speaking it from truth and transparency and somewhere deeper within, and it touches people. So allow your truth to come through these type of practices and let it touch the world in big ways. Let it touch your relationships. Let it touch the past hurts that you might have that still need closing and closure. Begin to speak, begin to wake things up that have been dormant for some time, and do what you need to do to be the fullest version of yourself. You can find me in all the places down below. Let's do work together. Let's do work on ourselves, but let's step forward in a more holistic way.